Hi, I'm Kyle Spies.
And I'm Shane Michaelon, and we're doing Lawerence versus Texas.
As of 1960, all states in the U.S. had a law against same-sex intercourse, also known as sodomy. The case starts when police entered the home of John Lawerence. They entered his home because of a weapons disturbance call. However, when the officer arrived at Lawrence's home, a homosexual 55-year-old medical technologist, he found Lawerence and Tyrone Gardner engaging in sodomy.
First, they went to trial court. They lost. Then they went to appellate court. They lost there too. Finally, they appealed to the Supreme Court. Their appeal was granted. They ended up winning the case by 6-3 and overturning Bauer v. Hardwick and making same-sex intercourse legal.
The rights involved in this case are: this case proved without a reasonable doubt that Texas's anti-sodomy laws, aka anti-same-sex intercourse, proved that it violates the 14th Amendment, or the Equal Protection Clause, and the right to privacy. The right to privacy is not a right specifically of the Constitution, but it can be interpreted using the Equal Protection Clause. And lawyers and judges both have differing opinions on the topic. Anthony Kennedy was considered the swing vote in the Supreme Court. He voted in favor of Lawerence in this case. He also recently retired. His seat may be filled by Brett Kavanaugh. He is being accused of sexual misconduct. Anyway, Anthony concluded that regardless of sexuality, anyone should be able to enter into a relationship without being prosecuted.
Scalia, after the court case, made a very right-winged comment and said,
"Today's opinion is the product of a court, which is the product of a law profession culture that is largely signed onto the so-called homosexual agenda, by which I mean the agenda promoted by some homosexual activists directed at eliminating the moral opprobrium that has traditionally attached to homosexual conduct. The court has taken sides in the culture war, departing from its role of assuring as a neutral observer that the democratic rules of engagement are observed." Later, he also stated, "Let me be clear that I have nothing against homosexuals or any other group. Promoting their agenda, though normal democratic means, the majority's invention of a brand new constitutional right," he wrote, "sued is impatient of democratic change."
Scalia said, so-called homosexual agenda. I find this statement somewhat concerning because this case is a clear violation of the Equal Protection Clause, and his phrasing of this statement was clearly homophobic.
Finally, we are going to look at a Democratic point of view. We have looked at Justice Scalia, who is a known Republican, and Anthony Kennedy, who is an independent vote, or a swing vote. Sandra Day O'Connor concluded that under the Equal Protection Clause, Texas did not have the right to enter Lawrence's apartment that day, making it unconstitutional. Also, she was the first woman to enter the Supreme Court. Finally, I would like to talk about how this case has implications in the future. Personally, I think this case is a huge win in favor of homosexual rights. It also created the gateway for the LGBTQ movement and community. I think that this case helped inspire a lot and also helps a lot because it legalized homosexual intercourse. And I think that it's very important.